one, you guys. LabCoatAgents. I mean, please let us know what city and state you're from. I'm so excited about this one because we're talking about the future, hopefully. So please tell us in the chat box, city and state, you guys. We are looking at a lot of people that have signed up for this one, Dan. So in the meantime, I am going to introduce you. I'm going to introduce you. Oh my God. All right, you guys. So this topic is about the city and state. If, you know, we have so many people here, so continue letting us know where. In the meantime, let me give you a brief introduction about our 1 hour that we're going to spend, or 45 minutes that we're going to spend with Dan here.
5 hours. 5 hours.
5 hours. Oh my God, I would love to do that, Dan. I'd love to pick your brain about this. So, okay, market shift. Okay, what is that all about? The truth of real estate. We're going to make the shift proof. I had to say that right, Dan. Shift proof your real estate business. Welcome, Dan Stewart, CEO of Happy Grasshopper. I have had the pleasure to work with you and use your systems, and I'm so happy. First-time experience coming right from the heart. So I love this company, and I love all the little tidbit advice that Dan gives us. Of course, he is going to talk a little bit about, you know, how to eventually build up a successful real estate career. Without further ado, Dan Stewart, welcome.
Thank you so much. You know, we've done so many webinars with LabCoatAgents, right? And I just want to take a moment and tell you how much I appreciate you. We have such great rapport. I love doing these sessions. I love when they're like, you're doing another way. It's like, great. I love it. I love it. I love it. So keep being awesome. You're just delightful.
Thank you, Dan. Same to you. You know, this is the reason why we do these on LabCoatAgents. The reason why we always, and I know Nick and Tristan come from a mindset of giving, right? Come from a mindset of educating, helping, what we have learned through the years, who we have connected with through the years, and how we to a level of success. And we continue to grow and learn every day, right, Dan? So we want to continue that journey, and of course share with the 100,000 plus realtors we have on LabCoatAgents. So take it away, Dan. Talk to us.
All right. Well, you know, I want to say hi to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Stacy and Kathy, thank you for telling us where you're from. My goal for any session that I'm participating in is to deliver as much value as I possibly can. And I really believe that the way to do that is to get you involved. So throughout the session, I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to look for your answers in the chat. My eyes will be peeled on the chat the whole time. So anything you ask, we can talk about, right? Yeah. And that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. We will start diving away here. Let me just
do want to let our participants know that this webinar, as always, is all webinars, is being recorded, you guys. So it is available on YouTube, just FYI, on our YouTube channel, LabCoatAgents. And you can go back and forth and kind of, you know, if you miss anything, don't worry, it's always there for you.
Awesome. So just about ready here.
I love the fact that we're talking about the shift right now, right? Because you have to be prepared. How to keep it shift proof. That's the whole point. Look at us there.
There we are. We got the LCA glow up, didn't we? Look at these pictures. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, you know, in interest of getting right to it and delivering as much value as possible, as much fun as we have with each other, as much as we enjoy joking around, this is some serious shift that we got to talk about. We just have to go ahead and acknowledge that. If you're watching this session and life has not yet kicked you really hard, I'm so happy for you. Most of us have had that experience of getting just, where did that come from?
Exactly.
And, you know, if you're choosing to build a career in real estate and you're expecting the way things are to stay the same, we need to change that expectation. Right? There's things we can control and there's things we absolutely cannot control. We have to acknowledge that. So we're going to start out just by having a conversation, you and I, about the sort of things that indicate a shift is coming and then how we're going to respond to those things. Mm-hmm. So, you know, let's imagine a point in the future where something has changed and it's causing us to have a great deal of uncertainty about our own personal security, right? When you start seeing the headlines talk about the market is changing and it's going to be bad, it's really easy to get wrapped up in doom and gloom. Like, right? You're going to feel it. It's going to be really tempting to go down that hole where you're no longer emotionally stable enough to get out there and make the progress in the market that you can.
And you don't know what to expect from it either, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, how can you? How could you know what to expect?
But there is one thing good about this, Dan. When you are emotionally driven, right, and when you set that mindset, it's, you know, and I won't take away from this right now, but when you set your mindset to a different level, how will you manage this, right? What is your routine? What do you do on a daily basis? That also adds up.
It's so critical to just recognize that this is first on the list for a reason.
Right.
Okay. I mean, any of us who work in sales, we know what it's like to have things change. We understand that the house might not appraise, or the inspection might not go as we hoped it would, or the buyer may not qualify for the loan. Those sorts of things we can deal with. And yet a shift is another level of dread that gets piled on top, because you know, the expectation is you won't even have the opportunity for the deal to fall apart. The deal just won't be there. And when you're faced with that, there's all sorts of different reactions that get churned up internally. And we're going to talk about them today so that they don't surprise you when they show up. You know, it's very normal when you encounter this situation of a shift to feel lost, to feel fear, to feel really great sense of anxiety, just, you know, ever present. You can't get away from it. You're obsessing about it all the time. And man, what a hard way that is. And to have all of that going on internally and then still need to project to the rest of the world that everything's fine and you've got all this under control. I mean, that is superhuman work, right? If you can do that, good on you. But let's also just acknowledge we're human beings. We all have our capacity to handle the stuff that happens. So when we're really in that environment where we've got all this uncertainty and this fear going on, it's time to focus on the things that we can absolutely feel certain about. Mm-hmm. So what are some things that you're absolutely certain of? I'd love to know. Yeah, what, like in your career, in your life, there are some things that are never going to change. You're absolutely certain of those things.
My attitude. So my attitude of how I'm going to handle this, right? My attitude, what is never going to change would be something like, you know, the fact that I'm going to continue participating to whatever, to do my best, right? So, you know, let's have our you know, everyone that's here also, let's start adding in your on the chat box the question that he just asked, Dan just asked, how do you handle that, right? Feeling certain, like what is one thing that'll never change no matter what? You know, that is definitely going to be certain. And every morning you wake up, it's there. I think one thing, even though it's not business, well, in my business, it is family too, because we have a family business with real estate, but I think it would be attitude. It's how you control it, right? It's your mindset.
We don't have control over what happens.
Right.
We always have control over how we react to what happens, right? We always do. And that's where we start to build up out of this sense of that happens when the shift first starts. We become empowered when we get really, really clear about the things we are certain of, and that empowers us to go ahead and take action. So, you know, there are, I think, some very expected things that we would do to take action in the midst of a shift, right? I mean, we can rattle off a few of these. I'd love to see some in the chat. So, the market's shifting. What's the first thing that you think of doing?
Buckling down to make sure that I am doing everything possible, right? I mean, sending out my talking to my past clients, sending out drip campaigns, smart plans, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that the first thing there that occurs for you is reaching out to people you know. Because I'll tell you, no matter what happens in life, it's our relationships with other people that get us through.
Exactly.
That is a truth I believe in for sure. I think if we look at some of the traditional ideas, oh, the shift is coming, here's what you do. Like one of the first things agents are taught to do is to cut expenses, right? And sorry, I'm not a doctor, but I write like one. So.
But let's talk about expenses. A lot of people think that you should cut expenses. And I think it's taking the action to increase that so you can increase your sales. I mean, find out different places where you can increase that expenses. It's not the time to cut. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I think that what you're talking about is possibly the very best segue to the next segment of what we're going to talk about. Because really there's a mindset at work there. Like cut expenses is a scarcity mindset. Like invest in growth is an abundance mindset, right? So is it cut expenses or is it invest in growth? Like that I think is really an interesting, like we're going to definitely explore that together. Right. The question, of course, is, well, what investments in growth are the right ones to make? Where is the most ROI? And then, of course, the fear demon starts peeping again, and it starts saying things like, well, how long will this last? You don't know. Like your brain is going to search for relief. And what you're going to have to do when you're faced with this scenario is just trust that you're equipped to get it through. Get through whatever you're presented with, and that the relationships you already have become more important than ever. Now, we're going to get in our time machine together. Let's go back to March 2019. Gosh, that seems like 10 years ago.
I know, right?
I mean, wow, it seems like I remember having a conversation with my friend Matt Fagioli from the Explode conference. I was booked to go to an event, and it was at the end of the month. And he's saying, I'm not sure if we should have the event. Like none of us knew what to expect with COVID and how it would change. Well,
Dan, go ahead. Sorry.
Come March 12th, at Happy Grasshopper, we stopped going into the office, right? In June, we still hadn't been going back to the office. So we were in the month-to-month portion of our lease after 10 years. So we non-renewed our lease. Like none of us knew what this future meant. There's all that sort of, oh my gosh, what is this? Is it even real or not? There's debate about that sort of thing. We have to be careful about the information we're taking in and more careful about how we react to it. Now, the reason I'm giving you this little time machine journey is to make a very important point about the value of relationships. We know that in that environment, there was so much uncertainty among our agent members. A lot of them said, hey, I need to cut expenses. Happy Grasshopper is month to month. I'm going to go ahead and put my account on pause, or I'm just going to cancel it. And we knew that in that scenario, there's never a more important time to reach out to people who know you.
Absolutely.
Like when things are going sideways, we need each other more than ever. So we made the choice. We said, okay, we can pause your billing, but we're not going to shut off your account. We're going to keep sending your messages through this. And you just tell us when it's time to turn it back on. So our revenues for that year, it started great. Then, it got really scary. And then it built back up towards the end of the year. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because I'm not just a guy here who's wanting to share communication techniques. Like you, I'm a business owner who has to make hard decisions, and I'm choosing to lean into relationships when things get tough. I'm going to encourage you to do the same because that's absolutely where I see the best results paid out over time. Now, we're gonna cover this, and then we'll move into the segue that you beautifully mentioned. So let's imagine that we're here at the center of this circle. Okay. So we have our world. We are, tightly here within our world. We can control to some extent, the things that happen here. There's always stuff outside of ourselves that we can't control. There are always going to be things that happen, and we have to decide what we're going to let in and what we're going to push back out. Okay. So I know I'm not the world's greatest artist here, but I really want you to think of your own personal bubble where you get to decide how things are. You have that power. Just like you were saying, you can get up and you can say, you know what, I've got total control over my attitude, right? So you're saying internally, I'm only going to let things in that help me maintain my attitude. Exactly. I'm not going to let things in that don't, right? And then you've got the ability to take that attitude and project it outwards to influence as many people as possible, right? So, you know, the longer we're alive, the more people that we know, this sphere that surrounds us just grows and grows and grows. And there's actually a number that when this sphere gets to be about 100 people, the ratio for those 100 people should be 12 transactions per year. Right? So I'm writing that number down because, you know, if you think about the people who actually know you that are in your database, the number is probably a lot smaller than you think. As an agent, you might have thousands of people in your database, and maybe it's Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or Sierra Interactive or Follow Up Boss or Real Estate Webmasters or wherever these contacts are. There's a special group that's much smaller than the total number. Those are the people who, if they saw you at the grocery store, they'd walk up and say hello, right? They would be happy to see you. They're happy to call you by name. It's those people where we get this magic ratio that happens. That's where the 100 relationships to 12 transactions per year number comes in. And that's a beautiful thing to know before you get to the shift, right? This way you can make for sure, you can make absolutely certain you have the number of contacts and the number of relationships you need to carry you through whatever sort of market shift you may encounter. Right? Yeah. So now we're going to get back to that segue. You remember this beautiful thing, like cut expenses or invest in growth. We talk about that being mindset, right? Right. So mindset is what we're going to focus on first.
So Dan, here's another thing I wanted to also share is that, you know, going back to what I was earlier about to say is that in March 2020, when we went through this mindset, this emotional shift with everyone, and we actually realized, and a lot of people, including myself, was like, where do we go from here on out? Is the market going to tank or is it going to be like wildfire, right? Mm-hmm. That's when you had to do a quick mindset shift to just check in with your past clients or check in with clients that you were working with. Hey, I'll get back to you. You know, how is your family doing at this time, right? Yep. Coming from that feeling, that emotional, that raw feeling that everyone was on edge about, right? Mm-hmm. Here we are a year and a half later, right? And we still have to continue to think, where are we headed now in our real estate market? And that's when this mindset and emotional shift comes in for us.
It really is something that we can't just coast on. You know, those people who choose to coast here are going to be the people who get really hurt during the shift. You know, people who've been through shifts in the past, they look forward to it. They say things like, do you know how much market share I can build during a shift? We're going to have so many other people panic, and I'm going to lean in and pour the gas on, and things are going to really grow during a shift. So, you know, that comes to this mindset and emotion topic where there's really two categories here we need to be clear of. We have internal and we have external, right? So a couple of concepts here that are important. Each of us are experts on our intentions, right? Our intentions are always internal. If I can spell internal, there we go. I'm such a goofball. I wrote the word internal again. Our intentions is what I mean to write here. Intentions are always something that we're experts on, where other people outside of ourselves are experts on our actions, right? So when we're experiencing stress in our lives, we may think that we've got it under control, right? And yet if we're snapping at our family members, our stress is showing. Like if we're turning into Karen and we're biting the head off some poor customer service person, that's the way our stress is showing up and it's getting expressed in the world. So again, we're experts on our intentions. Other people are always experts on our actions. And where your real power comes from is where these things are in synergy with each other, right? So when we can bring your internal experience in line with your external actions, that's where the magic happens, right? So I'll call that power, because this is where you're going to find the power to overcome whatever sort of market conditions that you ever encounter. So internally, we have to make a choice, right? Are we going to focus on the challenge? Or are we going to focus on the opportunity? Okay, so I'd like to ask you guys in the chat to go ahead and call a few things out here. Like, what are some internal things that you need to overcome to handle a shift? Right? Is it worry? Is it doubt? Is it stress? You know, whatever those things are, you need to write them down. And then, of course, externally, you have to think about how things show up in the world, right? So that whole description that I've just given you would be sort of the fear-based internal mindset, the scarcity-based internal mindset. That's not what we're here to talk about today, right? We're going to focus on the positive. We're going to align those positive internal experiences and expectations with those external actions, right? So we'll use you as an example here. Earlier, you talked about how your attitude was something that you can control. What do you think you do that allows people to see that you have control in your attitude? How, like specifically, what would you say to your team? How do you communicate to them during a time of difficulty?
Most of the time, I take it to where when I have my team meetings, I'm usually talking about mindset.
Okay.
I'm always talking about affirmations. All right. What you say to yourself, your internal dialogue matters, right? What you say to yourself, how you react to it, how you react with other people on it matters, right?
Okay.
So what are the things you do in the morning in regards to affirmations, in regards to attitude, in regards to, you probably woke up on the wrong side of the bed, you know, who knows? But then how do you switch that internal conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. So a lot of times the power here is going to come from just recognizing the alignment. Like, it's okay if you're listening and you go, oh, I'm having an internal negative reaction to this thing. Just becoming aware of that is going to help you make a different choice. Right. So the first thing that you really did there is you made a choice to be positive and control your attitude. Like, you could just as easily choose to fire up Netflix and lay on your couch and hope that everything works out okay. You know, it's not a very empowering choice, but it is a choice, right? So it's the alignment of these choices that you feel great about internally with your external action that allow you to actually make a difference in the situation, right? Now, one of the things that you got to think about next is, well, where is business going to come from during a shift? And I'm going to call that source of GCI, right? Because you're going to need to eat during the shift. That's important. And here you really have two choices. You have relationships, ships, and you have leads. Anybody who's been on a session with me, there's something I always like to say, and it's that there are only two kinds of human beings on the planet. They know us and they don't, right? So all these past clients, all these people in your sphere of influence, they absolutely know who you are, where a lead absolutely does not know who you are, right? So your relationships are so valuable when it's a time of a market shift, because all those people have concerns and wonders and worry. I mean, you may have a client who's, not only underwater, but is actually drowning. And you may be just the person that helps them get through that. And in the process of helping them, of course, you're helping them yourself as well. It's a really great thing to show up and do. So let's talk about relationships, and let's talk about leads. First thing on the lead sides, we'll just talk about, you've got free, cheap, and easy, right? Those are your only options for leads: free, cheap, and easy. A free lead is somebody who's saying, oh, hey, would you help my brother out? They're looking to buy, sell, or invest. Oh, I need you to help my best friend. That referral that you're getting is really a great free lead. But it's not the only source. We've got IDX leads, we've got portal leads, we have prospecting leads, door knocking, calling FISBOs, whatever it might be, calling expireds. Haha, I know it's 2021, right? There's all sorts of things you can invest in on the lead side. And yet during the time of a shift, it's the relationships that are going to represent the quickest path to the outcome that you're looking for. So I'm going to highlight the relationship area, because there's a very clear set of actions you can take to generate opportunity with these relationships. And we'll go into this in a bit more detail in a moment, but it's a 41 touch per year strategy. 41 touches. That seems like a lot, right? 41, my gosh. So I'll give you the breakdown of the 41. It's 17 emails, and then it's 12 texts and 12 ringless voicemail drops. Okay, so the email, that's 1x every 3 weeks. And those emails should not be real estate emails. They should be relationship-based emails. Hey, I just saw this article and I was thinking about you. Hey, how have you been? I saw it's, XYZ coming up. Are you going to be there? Like, stuff that shows you care more about the relationship with them than the commission opportunity that they represent. That's what these non-salesy emails should be about. Non-salesy, very important. I don't think salesy is a word, but it is now. So the text and the voicemail drops, they go out in this sequence. So I'll draw that here for you. Their birthday, their transaction anniversary, then you should have up to six holidays. And then, this is very important, 4 quarterly lead harvesting messages. And again, you can get a prescription filled with this handwriting if you need to later. That'll work fine. So this sequence, it's broken up. It all feels personal. None of it feels like marketing. And again, the relationship ratio here is that for every 100 contacts that you're sending that to, you should see about 12 transactions per year from that sending schedule. And I know we'll put the link here in the chat. In fact, Jake already has. We've collaborated with LabCoatAgents to build a special version of Happy Grasshopper just for LabCoats.
And I was just about to say that, Dan, is that, we do have the link right here for Happy Grasshopper. It is a total nurturing system, which I personally love. And it's a 14-day free trial, you guys. So this is a very imperative to keep those just relationships, right?
I would say that not only are relationships the fastest way to earn more GCI, it's the most fun way to earn more GCI.
And also, right? Those relationships are the ones that can also send you referrals, right? Friends, family. Yep. Yeah, I mean, they can definitely send you those as well. But what are you doing in order, to keep in touch with them is the key here.
Yeah. So the the challenges, like if we break down, oh my gosh, how do we do all these things?
Yeah.
Like, let's just acknowledge that a Happy Grasshopper is not the only way to send content, right? I mean, Samsung makes a refrigerator literally that sends text messages. So it's not like the real estate industry was calling out saying, hey, if only there were one more way we could send email or text. And yet we know that the real challenge is not being able to send a message. It's knowing what the message should actually say. Mm-hmm. You know, anybody who's ever subscribed to MailChimp or Constant Contact, you know what it's like. You sit down, you know you should be sending something, and you just don't know what to say. So that's a challenge that we've resolved for you inside LCA Nurture. My team of copywriters have created the content there for you. And then, of course, the when to say it problem, we've talked about that a little bit already. It's not a guess what the right frequency is. The data shows what the right frequency is. Today, we're nurturing 22 million contacts for real estate professionals. We send hundreds of millions of messages every year, and we measure what works and what doesn't work. That's where the 41 touch strategy comes from. It's from measuring that data, knowing what the frequency is. So again, it's 1x every 3 weeks for email, and then it's 12 texts and 12 voicemail drops throughout the year. Now, the question of how often to keep saying it is something that's also answered by data. In our system, we do not have to guess. We know, and that's the schedule that we put you on. So we make it super, super easy for you to stay in touch with people over time. And I'll give you this frequency here. You see it on the screen. These are the combo punch, the 1-2 combo. So if it's my birthday a week from today and I get a text from you, I feel like, great, you reached out ahead of the rush. We write the content. It's there. It's easy for you to choose. And then, of course, we support all of that with social media content. And we have these optional handwritten cards that you can send a la carte. So I happen to have one of these cards here. I'm going to show you. It just got returned. I sent it to a new member, and we didn't have the right address there. So this just came in my mail today. Let me stop my screen share so you can see this. This is a thick, high quality card, like you went to Hallmark and you bought it yourself. I'm going to show you the back because it doesn't say Happy Grasshopper on it anywhere. It's not our marketing project. It shouldn't have anything about our company at all. And, pro tip, it shouldn't have anything about your company either. It should show that you care enough to keep in touch without having a sales agenda. It actually works much better.
Right.
Now, inside the card, you see a message. Right? And as you look at the print there, you're going, whoa, that's pretty good handwriting. It's actually a robot holding a pen.
Wow.
Okay, it's actual ink pen. And you'll notice that in words there like grasshopper, you see we've got 2 S's and 2 P's. They don't match each other.
Right.
Right? So we handle all of that. They go out with a first-class U.S. postage stamp and, of course, a handwritten envelope as well. So you'll be able to order those a la carte from inside your account. And as you do that, you're going to be able to see I think there's about 100 cards in the library right now that you can choose from. And very nearly here in the future, we're going to include the ability for you to add a gift card to those cards. So yeah, I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to share my screen here one more time. Let me just put this back up.
And this is, simply put, this is all about relationships and keeping in touch with, your past clients, your future clients. And I love the fact that we have this part really at the anniversaries, transaction anniversaries and birthdays. How often do we do that? Like, really we need to think about that, right? How often?
You think like all the transaction dates, they're in your MLS, they're in your transaction management software.
Right.
And yet, are they anywhere else? Like, do you really work on that? It feels great for people to get that kind of recognition from you. So there's a few things I just want to point out here. Inside the application, we have recorded a ton of training videos. We also have free online support. We have live reps that are available for you. And as you'll see at this link below, we offer free one-on-one setup. Okay. So step one, just go to happygrasshopper.com and order your account. Happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture. And once you've done that, then come to this free link, step two, to schedule your white glove setup. That's a one-on-one call with one of my support reps who will get you set up. They'll help export your contacts from wherever they're hiding.
They did for me.
Yes. And I think it was Paul you worked with on my staff. Yeah, he's awesome. So as your contacts are being loaded, our system deduplicates them automatically. So you don't have to worry about having somebody in there more than once. And it also corrects the title case. So, maybe you've got all lowercase or all caps. Our system fixes that automatically as they come in. And then, of course, once they're in there, you choose your first message. We send it out. We keep you on track there throughout the rest of the year. So there are quite a lot of things we can do as business people to grow our businesses, right? We can advertise, we can buy bus benches and radio ads, and we can have TV commercials and websites, and there's a million things we can do. If you think about all those billions of dollars that get invested in that stuff every single year, it's to create a relationship, is to give you the chance to have a relationship with someone new. What we're doing here with LCA Nurture is not about creating new relationships. It's about nurturing all those people that you've had a chance to connect with. So, I strongly encourage you to go to happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture and get your account set up. You'll see when you get there that the service is incredibly value priced. It's either $47 per month, or if you'd like to save money by the annual plan, it's $470 per year. And that includes all the content, all the support, everything that you need. And many of our members are generating multiple transactions literally from a single send.
Well, I was about to say that, Dan, is that we just, one of our past clients is putting their home on the market. So that's another testimonial for you.
Oh, that's great. So this was someone you had in LCA Nurture? That's great.
One of our past clients, and now they're selling and upgrading to buy another home. So we've had a total of 3 or 4 transactions just by that ever since we joined a couple of months ago. So you see, I'm telling you from the horse's mouth right here, that relationships and how we nurture them and how we take care of them, and continuously just put it on an auto drip campaign system to where you're not focusing on it daily, right? But you're focusing and making sure that they are kept in touch, because guess what? Before I did this, I had about two past clients that really went to another realtor. And, after that, they called me and said, the home is still sitting on the market. What do I do? And I said, you didn't come to me.
I can't help you now. You're dead to me.
I did give them. The whole point was I was beating myself up inside because I did not do my due diligence of keeping in touch with them, and that was my fault. So,
well, I mean, that is a hard lesson. Like, nobody wants to learn that lesson, and yet for us, I think it's the largest driver of new business. I can't tell you how many times our sales team said, yeah, I got a call from an agent who signed up because they just drove through their neighborhood and saw another agent sign in front of their neighbor's home. It's like, that hurts.
And that's the whole point about, Happy Grasshopper, is to keep in touch, build that relationship, and constantly make sure that you are on top of shift-proofing bulletproofing your past clients into the future. And like I said,
there's so many things you can do there. And I thought I'd pull up a couple of things here for you real quick. Whoops, wrong link. So I'm logged into LCA Nurture right now. And this shows us the dashboard. So like it's time for me to send messaging. It's letting me know it's time to send email, time for me to send a quarterly lead harvesting message. And then my next queued holiday message is actually Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So in our system, you get to choose the holidays that you'd like to send for. And when you're in your account for the first time, it's going to have a tour that runs automatically. It will show you how to get set up. It's really easy. And of course, if you need help, you go to that happygrasshopper.com/white glove link. We have all these training videos here to show you exactly what to do inside the system. And then we've got all this great content. Now, once every 2 weeks, we're loading entirely fresh content here. You get to choose the messages you like and edit them if you choose before delivery. You get curated content for social media. Like here, we're starting conversations on real estate related topics. It's a very smart thing to be able to do. And I want to point out, there are a lot of companies that post social content for you. We ask you to copy the text and download the image and then post it yourself.
Right.
This way, whatever social media platform you're posting to, they see that it comes from your device and they share it with more people.
Right.
And so, important distinction. Do you hear that?
Don't tell me that's another thunderstorm coming your way, Dan.
This is life in Tampa Bay. I feel like my roof is getting pressure washed right now. So sorry about the background noise, but
anyway, guys, I do want to let you know that we're almost top of the hour, but I do want to say, like, whatever systems you use, just make sure that you are always in the relationship building mode, right? And LCA has partnered up with Dan, LCA Nurture, and they will, you can definitely have these wonderful, wonderful emails that go out on auto response. You've got the social media content. You've also got the text messaging. Show us a little bit about that, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually just clicked on the voicemail drop area. This is where we put scripts here for you. Like I'll preview this lead harvesting script. And you just click the record button, start talking, and then our system would remind you it's time to send it out. Or you can put it on complete autopilot and it would go out for you. Now, with text messaging, we're creating the content for you, right? So you're able to choose the content. As you're sending text for the first time, I want to walk you through what has to be done. First thing you'll do is choose a phone number. So you'll just enter your area code. You'll search for a number that you like. Here's the number I picked, and I set it up to automatically forward to my regular phone number. This way, if somebody dials that number, I'm going to actually get the phone call from them. Okay. Now, when a text message goes out, it goes out from this new number. So a common question is going to be, well, how do they know it's coming from me? So like here, I'll look at this birthday script. Hey, first name, it's first name, last name. Am I the first to wish you a happy birthday this year? I hope so. Do you have any plans? Now, people will reply to that message when you send it, and this way they'll know for sure that it comes from you. Now, it's 2021, right? So I think we're getting used to people having more than one phone number. But you should expect that the first time you send, you'll have some people reply saying, is this really you? And of course, you just say, yes, absolutely it is.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Like I said, I was just about to say, so you can also do ask for help or offer help. I mean, you can always, see if they need a contractor on anything that they're working on. Is there any maintenance issues with the home that you need help with? There's so many things you can actually customize also within the system. So that's what I love about this as well. And LCA, like I said, has teamed up with Happy Grasshopper to bring you LCA Nurture. And the link, you get a free 14-day trial, you guys, happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture. So log on to that. You'll get some good information, you guys.
Awesome. I want to thank everybody for attending today. Again, my highest value is teaching and bringing value. I hope that the things you learned today will serve you. I also want to just say that I'm a real dude. I would love to have a real conversation with you. So please feel free to email me, dan@happygrasshopper.com, and we can set something up.
Awesome, Dan. This is really good.
You.
I look forward to the next one. Let's talk more about how we can continue building those relationships and dive a little bit into more of the system side of Happy Grasshopper. So
awesome.
We can do that next. All right, folks. Thank you to everyone who attended. Again, we are on YouTube, LCA LabCoatAgents YouTube channel. This will be uploaded. Talk soon.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye.